This QI loves to play with me sometimes. You know what a reaction state is, the speed at which magnets are opening and closing between hot and cold water, right? Cold fusion, hot fission, reaction states. So I'm one, okay? So works a little different when you're a monopole. If you're not a monopole, sadly, it's really about the surrender of X. You know, I'll just give you an example, but I don't normally do this. But if you're going to put the mirror up, right? Sometimes it's helpful when they realize I'm not doing this for you to experience a lower frequency or vibration. That's not my intent. Okay. But what I do know is if I do put the mirror up and let you know of that, like as a teacher, a guide, as a mother and father joined as one, you can self-observe or you can self-experience what you're going to learn from it through the mirror if I give you an example, which is like a demo model, right? Because I have my own experiences that I can relate. But there's a big difference between experiencing it indirectly to somebody else who has experienced it directly. And if they haven't experienced it directly, from which they learn from the experience in their own mirror. So I use the mirror sometimes because that's what a magnet is. That's what a stargate is, okay? Based on the speed of your core to get through it, okay? So, for example, and this is where I call it discombobulated language because of the way that the English language is put together, babble, okay? And if you're not able to convert what's been inverted, okay, back to the language of light, which is what love is, it can become difficult because this is how the programming language is held in memory, along which to hold soul consciousness energy captive, and that would be your Draco and Anunnaki. Okay. Right? The Keist, soul consciousness, traps, layers and layers and layers, constructs, cutting through all their lines of communication, which is the Skynet. You know, now you get into what Patty mentioned one time about all the hybrids, Illuminati, Anunnaki and Draco, right? So for example, a video just pops up, you know, right in front of me, and it's a guy talking about wildland firefighting because the QI knows and how to translate the mechanics, the celestial mechanic, grid mechanics of all this as it relates to language, DNA language, okay, between magnets, sound language, sound and light language, right? And so you have a guy that presents heroes, uses the word heroes. He, if you've been programmed in memory, that he represents a male, she represents a female. So you have he, then you have heroes. Row, row, row your boat. You can tie that directly into native spirit, clans and tribes, language, wampum belts. Okay? Wa-am pum. Wampum belts. Just like the same way that they mess with the word called machinery. Ma-chi. Right? Ma, M-A, right? Matter state, M-S, matter state, right? Antimatter, right? Matter state, antimatter. Torque differential speeds between two magnets and how that works inside of a planet chip with a single pole, right? To maintain the balance between hot and cold water. Pressure washer, echo chamber pressure washers. Just like you throw your clothes in the laundry, right? Spin cycles, right? Ping pong balls and clothes dryers. Quantum foam. Bubble tech. Tiny bubbles. So, and then I tie this directly into, and I've had the great pleasure of being able to experience her live, which was Ike and Tina Turner at the Rose Palace in Pasadena, which just, no coincidence, happened to be on the headliner, what we call headliners, you know, on the big posters with Stevie Miller Blues Band, and it's no coincidence where he happened to be hanging out in a place called Williams, which is in between Jacksonville and what would it be? Well, you could sort of consider it Cave Junction, but if you look on a map of Highway, 99? Was it 199? I forget. Same thing, 199. Which goes between Grants Pass and Interstate, or Grants Pass, it's Interstate 5 and goes all the way down south to Crescent City, but you can tie in Cave Junction, the caves, and then the underground tunnel network, and then where Applegate River is, which is where Applegate Lake is, which is where I was there in 77, Sunset Strip. I was there in 1977 during the summer, which was when they were putting that dam in. It now has water in it, right? And so you can, I call this tying ribbons, putting a nice bow on it, right? When you do all the energetic work between all these lines of communication, plate lines, grid lines, right? And it all is happening at a very, very, very high rate of speed, in which they're not aware of it, because it's like being outside time, but doing it inside a time matrix, so to speak. Things that they can't undo because it's not able to realize what's doing it, because it can't track what's doing it, because it's like being inside time, outside time, inside time, outside time, inside time, outside time, inside time, outside time, in which you're basically burning up lines of communication so that the network that you're trying to build, which is like a Borg cube ship to assimilate everybody that's here, okay, to siphon off, got no use for spirits, siphon off the soul. Now, if you will, you convert in the way that language is understood, which means change what it once was into something that it's no longer what it once was. Now, we use energy that way in which to create things out of what love is, which means now we're using the colors from which you can see how all the colors work within a creation sphere, right? Out in nature. See all the different color combinations. I call them color codes, color combinations, in which the colors, like on wings, right? So you see cats, like for instance, Siamese cats that have dark noses, right? And beautiful beige colors. Right, and then you see the form of the energy that's moving through an energetic field with its paws and its tail and its ears and the senses that it has. Why I happen to love cats on a spiritual level, why they're beautiful to have inside of a house, right? Much like a lemon. You know, cat's eyes, they see things that our human eyes don't see, for example. But I have a way to tweak my eyes so that you can sort of see things that are there that you wouldn't ordinarily see, sort of between dimensions and densities, actually, if you've learned how to do that. But which is closing your eyes, actually, and so because you're multidimensional, multi-density, and so when you've, it's a matter of knowing what you are, what you're capable of, because of what you know that you are in energy, which is what love is. It goes on forever, gifting energy, which you have the capability to be able to do because you want to restore what it is that you know that's been lost as a result of the experience that is informing you of that. Okay? Which means restoring it back to fire. Okay? Because you realize how this works between past, present, and future. That's 3. Past, present, future is 3. So when you're lit on fire as a monopole, there isn't any future or past. There's only 0, which means what do you want to experience next that love is going to experience next? Whatever love experiences next is lit on fire. So now it's up to you. You're free. That's called a free spirit, because that free spirit is the most powerful fire, because that's a cosmic level spirit that's on fire. Which means the very idea that time exists. Do you think that creation itself began with a time clock? Okay. An eternal love vibration is not running a timekeeper because it's unnecessary. Throw the time clock out. Throw the rabbit out. Hey, Alice and the Looking Glass. Now you know why Looking Glass was developed. Right? The technology to be able to do what? Now we're into the architects. Arching techs. Now we're into the Smiths, Mr. Smiths. Now we're into the artificial intelligence. Now we're into Blade Runner versions. You know, so now you get into presentation. What kind of presentation? How do you want to present yourself today? Okay, well, I think I'll be, let's see, purple skin. Yeah. I think I'll present myself as purple. My face is purple. Okay, what you see on the visible light spectrum as to the physical light body is a purple light body. Whoa, you're purple. Yeah, then I can have, let's see, what color hair would you like me to have? How about red? I love red hair, right? Long red hair, right? And a set of boobs, right? So that my children get the good stuff, which is the immune stuff, right? Because we're intelligent enough on how to be able to produce that for our children, right? That's why when I was growing up, it was not unusual to see a female that was milking her baby because it was unnecessary to be able to go pay for money, using money to go buy something that you don't need because you're already producing it for your own children. It's much like, did you not think that the universe of creation didn't provide you for everything that you need right out of the gate? So it's a matter of using your intelligence to figure that out. Now we're back to dependence and independence, what it means to be a free spirit. All right. So this is one of the reasons why I naturally, when I was a child growing up, was wanting to go hang out with earthy types. Not earth, like an the way that Yellow Rose describes that. No, earthy types, like Mother Earth types. You know, living spirit, like real gods and goddesses that love to hang out with each other. Yeah, they're on fire to be with each other. Right? So we're talking about the spirit of fire, spirit of love. That's right. It's always on. The light is always on, never off. So there isn't an on and off switch. See? With the digital virtual worlds. Those are simulated. Hey, let's go jump into the simulator, like on a holodeck. Just like, what's his name? Captain Kirk? Spock and Bones? Why they named him Bones? B1S? S-Wave? Spirit wave, spiral wave, cosmic level spirit, right? So it's really sort of funny how I'm noticing just over the last day, you now have people going live on camera with Huna Flash. I just got done watching Huna Flash, and what was he talking about? Ka-U-I. Now you have Lisa Renee who's letting know the importance of Ka-U-I, right? What I mentioned about feeling your essence on the island of Kauai last December, right? And then you can tie that directly into the little Voyagers material about the importance, and then you get into the paradox, right? The paradox, like in paramilitary, like in QI paramilitary. Now you're into the quantum parallelogram, right? Parallelogram. Oh, gram, or like in Grammys, music Grammys. Right? Yeah, remember the RCA with the little white dog? You know, with his, now you know what a xylophone is, right? Keyboards, keyboard warriors, digital warriors. Self-tuning musicians in spirit form. Cosmic spirit level musicians. Spirit form of the energy, which is eternal light. Yeah. With an oversoul. Single pole. Yeah. Playing music with the universe of all creation we're in love with. Love of music. Absolutely love of music. Self-tuning our instruments. Tuning the waves, baby. Tuning the colors into the waves. So now all of a sudden in the morning I wake up. Now I'm seeing Gina Colvin-Hill show the circuit boards, the grid board. Whoa, it's like it's melting away. And everybody could see the board, the motherboard, the circuits, the capacitors, the resistors, the intersections, the tetrahedrons. Wow. Right? And then you have Huna Flash now is talking about the importance of that island, Lemuria, right? Just down the road from where I'm at on the Big Island, right? What is it, 200 miles? Right? Yeah. And so he's live right now. Huna Flash is live right now, right? And so you got everybody live right now. It's like, wake, wakey. This is like the real woke. So it's done in what we call phases or stages. Because I knew this about, I don't know, 12 years ago. I don't keep track of time, but I can remember the experience of what I was experiencing in which to know it. And now we're back to knowing. And particularly last year when my voltage, my biometric voltage, right, thermal gradient, built-in voltage thermostat was running hotter than you can shake a stick at, right? And it took me the better part of 30 days, man. It was burning through an enormous amount of crap. I mean, let's put it this way. When I'm needing to go to an emergency room, into a hospitalier, a death zone squads, that's no offense to people that are nurses and people working cubicles that call me up, like, what is it, Renown Hospital in Reno, and actually have the audacity to call me up and actually ask me for money. I almost felt like calling them back and saying, listen, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for us, and that is the truth. What are you talking about? You're asking me for energy. Okay? Now listen, I'm energy. You're energy, right? Okay, so I am what love is that goes on forever. Okay, so imagine you're holding down a magnetosphere in order to maintain the balance while you're recovering during a salvage operation to do polarity integration work, which is sort of like saying that we're going to return the universe from which it began to experience what love is that goes on forever, which is to pull all the fragments back in, which means recover everything that we lost, so we're all experiencing one again. So we're all being loved again. So now we're all experiencing what love is, which is what the law is. Okay, right? Yeah, that's called restoration. It's a different key code, which is a different key code access code. So if you want to think of the way that to reset a clock, it's not resetting a clock. Those that run on clocks are machines. Spirit doesn't live on a clock. A spirit that is in that light that is as pure as it gets, which is on fire, is no time. There is no past. Okay, there is no future. There's only right now, which is what love is that goes on forever. So that's total surrender. Okay, so it's not about DOMs. Dominoes, like Domino's Pizza. Why all their language is coded to communicate with each other. So you got to cut through all the lines of communication to expose their language corruption. So if the light is burning it all off. Which is like saying burning down the house or burning up all the language that's been held in memory. It was meant to hold consciousness captive to memory-driven program apps, which is the API, which means apply my energy to run a program, which is a consciousness trap. Now I see the system, which is the Mr. Smith programs, which is Adam Smith, which is everything that represents a corporation. Because a corporation is a corpus. Corpus in their language means dead. It's a fiction, doesn't exist. That's the illusion of X. That's right. So when you're one, which love is, which is the highest law, the law is here. Have a great day. Do 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 do. I'm really happy to see everyone is happily sharing with each other all the work that we've all done together on behalf of the one, which is love is the law. Right? I think, what is it? Energetic synthesis calls it GSF, a God sovereign frequency. I'm God sovereign. I'm running a God vibration. Well, you're going to need a girl if you plan on passing your seed on, the seed delivery boy, right, via phosphorus. You need a grower, right, to grow that creation, grow that planet chip, grow that star system. Right? You want to see the universe with all kinds of stuff, everything from trees and plants and flowers and everything else. You're going to need a grower. And you know what grows a seed is what love is that goes on forever. Gifting electrons, right? So that's as simple as it gets. Aloha to all of you on a happy day from the Big Rock.